UK, we haven't made any of the big decisions. We set lots of targets, we have on the CHP. For years, 10 years, it's gone unchanged. 10 gigawatts, and we've sat at 5.5 gigawatts for 10 years. They've been having a target and that strategy to drive it forward. And if the investment isn't coming forward, that tells you one thing: you've got the wrong framework. But think of it from the big investment, whether it's a cooperative or whether it's a big utility. We've had in 10 years 3 energy reviews. What kind of stability and framework and confidence does that give? And worse than that, at the beginning of that, one of the big options, that of nuclear, was ruled out as being uneconomic and not suitable. And here we are 10 years later saying, actually, it's the saviour. Now, investors are really uncomfortable with that kind of change, and whether it's cooperative building and investing in infrastructure, or whether it's big power plants, the big investors, these are 20 to 30-year minimum investments, and for nuclear you can argue it's a 50-year investment to make any sense at all. So how do we fix that? I think that's a big issue. And the other one is about is there a competition? I think all the evidence shows is the big competition is about, do you want to have central wasting plants, or do you actually want a decentralised model? And CHP creates part of the backbone for decentralised, and wherever that has been implemented, renewables have actually added to it at a faster rate than anywhere else, because they complement rather than compete.
Hi, Stuart O'Brien, CGK. I've got a question for all really. We've been working on a CHP scheme for quite a good number of years now, and we've got all the public housing sorted, we've got all the public buildings sorted. Up until about 2 or 3 years ago, we couldn't get any industrial user interested because energy wasn't high enough up the profile. And in 2 or 3 years, we thought, in the last 2 or 3 years, what a great change, everyone will be interested. And then you come back to the point that all the other modern renewables that are far sexier, that have a marketing value per hit of visibility, but a wind turbine in front of your commercial property, and you get far better value out of it than you get in steam plant. And I just wonder how you get over that infrastructure issue for levelling out your heat supply. You know, we can supply heat, peak demand is perhaps twice a day. We want to level out with industrial. You can't get industrial users, bar very kind of blue chip or high profile activities like Manchester City sort of activities where certain people say yes we want it. You can't get the bulk of commercial UK to take an interest. I just wonder how you see that conflict being resolved specifically.
Thanks. And there's another question over here, yeah, John.
Yeah, this is William Grants. I was just interested in the comment on ROCs, because I think a large number of companies that are high users of energy can justify projects on their own with ROCs. However, going to tell the chief executive that it's a 4 to 5 year payback, but if you have no ROCs, it's 8 to 10, is rather difficult. And I was wondering whether you had any ideas of what could be done in terms of taking away that kind of uncertainty.
Well, just on that, I mean, what do you see is the uncertainty, the current changes in the ROC regime? Is that a concern?
Well, I think it is that, but I don't think it's uncertainty. I think always something will be there, okay? But if you go to a board, which is really a commercial project, there's no way. You have to pay back. Half of it is the revenue I generate from electricity sales or whatever, or my own use. But the rest is these certificates that someone's going to give me money for. Now, there is no certainty about what that level is, or indeed what it will be in the future. And that's very difficult to get board sign-off in that kind of environment.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So the first question probably I'll address to you, Phil, which is really about addressing this commercial risk that's stopping people perhaps signing onto long-term heat contracts.
Well, I think it's undoubtedly one of the biggest challenges in terms of how do you get people going up. And I think if you look at other countries, there's been a combination of guidance, which we're starting to see in the UK through planning guidance now, and actually giving clear direction about thou shalt only build a power station where the heat can be used. Thou shalt be obliged to take heat from a power facility if you're within a certain distance, etc. And I think we've got a long way to go before we get there. I mean, the public sector could provide us with the backbone for many of these projects, because they've got buildings that are operating throughout the day, they complement their residential loads, etc. And with global warming, we're finding more and more. Last year was a classic example where cooling is becoming more important. So that can actually come through the summer months and help the economics. So I think there's an issue there that has to be dealt with. I think the other one is we kind of fool ourselves in the UK. We don't want to hurt anything that's currently in place. And maybe where we are with security of supply, where we are with climate change, we need to demonstrate some real leadership and actually give some clear direction. You can't always kind of wait until every individual is willing to make a change. And you have to actually create a pathway and use logic to explain why you're going to do something. And the biggest area I see us kind of prevaricating with at the moment is around carbon. You know, we all well live in a world now where everyone believes in the future there's going to be this huge price for carbon, because the rest of the world isn't sustainable. But people are making investment decisions today, and as long as we continue to say, well, for all of your past activities, we'll grandfather you all the carbon allowances that you need, well, where's the incentive to change your behaviour? And in the future, there's going to be a carbon trading market, and it's going to be really, really expensive, and all the government models scaling up. So, in the future, you'll pay. But today, where is that price? It's not there. It's not built into any of the economics. So, lots of projects just do not fly. And we can't live with that, because the reality is, whilst people are looking at lots of projects, the big players, the big utilities, have to make sure their supply businesses are going to have electricity. And so they're going to have to invest in something. And if you don't have the new structure in place, they'll just build the same as they have before, because that's what they want to do. And that's what we're seeing in the UK. You know, we're seeing a dash for gas 3, and we're seeing a resurgence of coal-fired power plants, in spite of everything else that we hear about.
You raised a point there about just how well equipped some of these market-based instruments, such as the carbon market, are to actually deal with the questions that we have. And the gentleman raised another question there about the renewable obligation certificates and just how one manages the risk and the expectation around the value of those. I mean, John, you can pick up on that to start with.
Yeah, before I do, can I come back to the first question, which was about getting commercial interests? I think the 2 points are intimately related. To give you some good news, we've all seen Tesco's declared a few months ago they've got £100 million war chest to go green. M&S likewise. I don't know how many of you know about Gaze and Properties, they're owned by Walmart. They build these huge logistics sheds on the out of town, pretty ugly things. They have an eco-template for every single development, so that this is benign and as sustainable as possible. This is the sharp end of development, because they're building these things in 6 days to sell on as investment vehicles. And they're covering them with renewable technologies. CHP, PV, solar water heating, wind turbines, everything that they're putting onto these buildings because it makes sense for them. The reason it makes sense for them is because it's about green supply chain that they're feeding into, which is why Tesco's and Marks and Spencer come out and say, we're going to go green. You can be as cynical as you like as to their motives, but the reason is because you and I are walking down the aisle saying, I want to know what carbon has gone into this product. I want to know that this is sustainable global problems. So there is a positive move afoot. It may be slow, but it's starting. It's a lot better than it was a few years ago. As to that, planning requirements, there's 80 or so planning authorities around the country who have a Merton-style rule where they require a percentage of your carbon footprint to be addressed with on-site renewal. So it is starting, but it needs to go a lot faster. And just to come to the second question, this question of payback is one that bedevils all of us. In a way, it's it's almost irrelevant.